This is a presentation that will be made by Mr. Ulemu Mponela. He is the lecturer 2 in the computer science department, and he's going to present a topic known as smart cities development. This is part of the e-business, so he will clarify in his presentation. And thank you, Novita and the team at STEKOM University for hosting us. Therefore, because of the technological problems, he's going to use my computer, so don't be surprised when you see Mr. Ulemu presenting. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Mr. Ulemu as he presents, please.
Mr. Novita, can I start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to extend my warmest regards for this opportunity accorded to me that I can be able to present on this topic on smart cities development, in particular in relation to e-business and also e-business opportunities. And as Dr. Yobe also said, my name is Ulemu Mponela, and currently teaching as a member of staff in the ICT department or the computer science department. And this is basically the presentation that I want to make on smart cities development, especially the benefits and also the impacts that smart cities bring, and in particular or in relation to e-business as well. Now, I'll first of all give an introduction on the topic so that we can be able to follow each other through. That when we're talking about basically smart cities, what is it that we are trying to look at, and so that we can also be able to appreciate in terms of the e-business context side as of now as well. Now, the very first thing that we need to understand is where we're probably coming from, as in the reason why we are doing these things. At the current situation, we want to give the present scenarios where we are at the moment. The truth of the matter is that more than 50% of the world's population, they do live in the cities. Meaning to say, since they do live in the cities, there is now an expected surge or rise whereby there is now an ability whereby in the next few coming years, those numbers will even rise to about 80% from 50%. That is worldwide. And also, in terms of this as well, in as much as we are saying a lot of people do live in the cities, it means to say that those people who are normally living in the cities, there is also a high percentage of the natural resources that are used. There is also high waste generation, and there is also things concerning resource efficiency. Now there is that need whereby we are supposed to be able to cater for all these issues that are there, like the high natural resources consumption, the waste generation, even other good resource efficiency mechanisms that can be developed as well. Now, in context of all these things, that's where now the e-business side of things come into play, because they do also help out a lot when it comes to all these issues that I've just said right now, as in the natural resource consumption, even the waste generation, and also the efficient utilization of the resources as well. Now, basically, I just want to give an overview definition of the smart city, because under normal circumstances, when we're looking at something that is smart, or as a city that is smart, at the heart of it, we have what we call IoT. Now, IoT in short, or in full, it stands for Internet of Things. Internet of Things. And of which, when we're talking about IoT, or in short, or in full Internet of Things, it's basically more like the hub of the smart city development. meaning to say we cannot talk about smart city development without actually talking about Internet of Things. And when we're talking about Internet of Things, we are basically just talking about the use of information and communication technologies coupled with intelligence and also other issues as well, so that we can be able enabled in terms of the efficient use of the resources that any nation has, which also result in good cost management and also energy savings and stuff, so that all those things they can be able managed without having any issues at hand. And also, excuse me, and also on the same as well, it will also highly be able to make the resources that every environment or every nation and any other place that they have to be able to utilize in an efficient manner, and also utilizing them at its optimal best. So all these things, as we'll be talking about smart city, we'll mainly also be looking at the IoT or the Internet of Things, because at the hub of the smart city, we have got what we call IoT. And also, I'll also briefly explain as well how it also interacts with e-business as well on the e-business side of things. So we'll also be able to appreciate and see how that also dwells much also on the IoT as well. Now, I want to first of all to give these key elements about smart cities so that we can be able to follow through as I'll be explaining. At the hub of the smart city development, we have got some few minor key elements that need to be put into consideration whenever either a nation or other groups or organizations, they want to develop smart cities, because this is the way forward, or we can say that this is now the new age of city living, whereby we can now embrace technology in our daily lives and also embrace it in terms of the business opportunities that also that can also be brought out due to this, to the utilization of smart cities. And the very first thing that I would like to explain as a key element, it is on economic development, which is now where, of course, I'll explain about the e-business side of things. When we're talking about economic development, because we are now living in a global world, meaning to say wherever people they are, they can be able to easily connect using the technologies, the technological advancements that are there right now. It means to say that on the economic development side of things, we should first of all take it as a nation. It means to say that when we come to if we can have a nation that wants to implement these cities or wants to implement their cities to make them smart, it means to say they will be at an advantage place whereby they can be able to make economic gains through the development of these smart cities. Now the question can be why and how is that so? Very simple. First of all, we need to understand that, as I've say that we're living in a global world. It means to say that wherever someone is, wherever they are, we can assume someone is in Africa, someone is in Asia, someone is in Europe, someone is in the Americas, either north or south, and also maybe Australia and other continents as well. It means whatever the situation in all these whatever the situation that is at hand in all these nations of all these continents, it means the perspective of people will be dependent much on the impact of the technology that they have in those nations. So you see to say that this is the reason why now we have first world countries, second world countries, even the third world countries. Why? Because much of the actual demarcation has been done not only based on the financial gains, or let's say like maybe the GDP of the nations and stuff, no. But much of the reason why we have got these demarcations, it is also because of what? Because of the technological advancements of that nation or that country. So meaning to say, first of all, because under normal circumstances, investors who would show interest in investing maybe in a certain nation or in a certain city or maybe in a certain area, there are key elements that they look for whenever they want to try to invest in something else. And much of the things that now people have to look into are things concerning technology. what is the level of technology of that place or that nation, and also maybe the area, is it accessible, and all sorts of things. Now you see that if they are looking at, we can just take as an example, let's assume maybe a nation or the certain place, they have got maybe natural resources that can be that other people that can be interested in. You can first of all say that, okay, if those natural resources are available, but then does the nation itself have a proper, robust technological advancements where it can help them out in order for them to indulge in whatsoever business that they want to. So you see that if the answer is yes, then the potential investors now, they see that place as a favorable ground for them to invest in, because when they see the technology, it is not much different from where they're coming from. If they're looking at the transportation sector, the energy sector, if they're looking at maybe even any other sectors that are available, how advanced are they? Even the actual internet itself, how advanced is it? Now you see that all these things, they help out in order to map a good way for the economic gain of any nation or even a certain city. As a result, it means the very first key element, it is on economic development. Meaning to say, whosoever wants to enlarge, or in this case, if there is that need of any nation or state to implement a smart city, it means they're putting themselves at an advantage, because they'll be able to have financial gains or economic gains. And mostly this is done because of the new attractive investments that are there. And also, I'll give another example on the same economic gains. We have got other online platforms that are normally utilized. Let's say, for example, the common places where now people are normally buying either electronic goods or maybe food items and so forth, and any other thing that they might want to be able to buy online. You will notice to say that even if we are to put it in the context of the payment gateways, normally the payment gateways, they only work with the countries that even their technologies, first of all, they are advanced, and also maybe they believe that they can be able to handle those kind of payments. Now you see that issues like those, it means to say not every country, for example, is can support, let's say, like, for example, PayPal. PayPal, it is not supported in each and every country. But now this is someone who wants maybe to utilize PayPal because they want to purchase goods online. It means because their actual technology is not of that great advanced, it means to say they will not be able to work. They cannot be able to be supported. But now, because the technology is coming up, it is now regarded as a nation, which is what? As a country or a nation that can be able to be accommodated online. So that also opens up a new chapter of economic growth as a nation, because it means even key stakeholders, they can just be able to what? They can just be able to organize their resources and also conduct important meetings and stuff, and be able to follow through everything, even online, without actually visiting the actual place physically. So that is one key element that is very much important. When we're talking about smart cities, we cannot go or we cannot look as well beyond economic development as well. And another key aspect, we have got improved livelihoods. Under normal circumstances, we say that the people are the real drivers of economic growth. So if the general livelihood of people in that certain city or in that certain country, it is being improved, it means to say that those people now will even become much more productive. Why? Because it means there is now the usage, there is a higher usage of technology, there's a higher usage of ICT equipments. Now, because all these things have been leveraged in their daily lives, it means even their actual productivity will also advance. Meaning to say all these things, as we're saying, you will now be able to to do it without any problem. And this means to say that because the livelihoods of people that are being improved, it means even the productivity of a nation will be improved. I can give a great example of two countries like China and Japan. We say technologically wise, these countries, they are really advanced, but and also they produce quality goods and also services as well. But really, if we are to look at that aspect of things, like let's take maybe, for example, the example of Japan. Japan isn't like a very big nation. It is small in size, but now you'll be able to appreciate the things that they are able to do, the things that they're able to produce. Now you see that a lot of technology that we're even embracing right now, many of them, one way or the other, they've been, first of all, imparted by the Japanese. Now you start to see and appreciate to say that it does not matter if the nation is small or big. But for as long as we embrace the smart cities, for as long as we embrace technology, this means to say that we will be able to, we're going to be able now to even have a people that are very productive. And as they are productive, this means to say that we'll be able to what? To have now even foreign investors that are now much interested to be what? To invest in that nation, because they see the potential that the nation has. And also it means the global outage, the global outreach of the actual nation as well, or the city, will even be big online. Meaning to say that even the businesses that are conducted online, they'll even bring in more foreign currencies to the particular city or even the particular nation. That means even if it has got other tourist attraction areas, that means to say, because it is heavily utilized, it heavily utilizes technology. These are some of the things even tourists look at. They'll first of all try to research, if I'm going to that place, what type of level of technological advancements do they have? Do they have proper transportation systems? Do they have proper healthcare systems? Do they have modern equipments? Do they have modern infrastructures? Things like those, you know? So they are able now, even issues like concerning internet, they do even research on that as well. So you see that all these things, they help out in the general outcome in terms of business opportunities, and also in terms of energy efficiency. We cannot go beyond this as well, because in energy efficiency, what now we are trying to look at, it is now the ability to be able to utilize whatever energy sources the nation has for the betterment of the nation and also for the betterment of the cities as well. Because according to statistics, a lot of countries, they lose out on a lot in terms of the energy efficiency, because the energy efficiency is really low because of lack of poor monitoring equipments, poor monitoring skills, and so forth. Now, because we are utilizing all these smart cities, it means the energy efficiency would be high. Meaning to say, because the truth of the matter is, we do not have, if we had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, globally, we have many areas that still have energy issues, either for heating, either for cooking, either for, and any other thing that is also concerned in the energy sector. Now, all these things, if we have to look at, for example, especially the third world countries, a lot of them struggle with energy efficiency. And you see that is where also in the third world nations, that's where we have got over maybe a quarter of the world's countries are there. And it means if we can have, first of all, a steady base of energy source, it means to say even those investors, they are now attracted to that place, because they'll see, let's assume maybe these are big companies that they want to open maybe their factories or maybe a certain plant in that nation, because of the opportunities that are there. These are the kind of things that they'll look at. What is the energy efficiency levels? Is the energy really good? Is the energy sources reliable? All these things that will be looked into. And if there is no that proper energy efficiency, it means to say that those investors, potential investors, they might want to pull back. Now, because that is the case, now you now see to say that overall, there is now little opportunities that are coming our way as a city or even as a nation. And also even concerning employment as well. Employment also plays a huge role, because for the fact that now these cities, They are developing new standards of living. They're developing new technologies, and also other sectors that were not there in the first place. It means to say we are now having people that are able to earn. We are now having people that are able to have new job opportunities because they were not there beforehand. So that also helps in the overall economic growth as well. And also, we also have got global city investment competitive thing earlier on. Investors do not only want to invest in a particular, we can say maybe in a particular area, as in countries, but normally they look at it global as well. Meaning to say, if, for example, it is a nation that wants to attract global investors, they are not the only potential attraction areas. We also have got other countries that are also vying for the same potential investors as well. But now the question should be, how now can you be, as a nation, be able maybe to outbid your fellow countries, or even to be able to even attract more global investors, or otherwise in general just as investors? Now you see to say that at the heart of it, it is these issues like smart cities. Like, I'll give an example. We have got a nation in Africa called Rwanda. Rwanda, just some 20 years ago, it wasn't an attractive area to invest in. Why? Because there was issues of civil war and all sorts of things. But now, just some 20-25 years later, it is now one of the countries that are mostly attractive to potential investors, especially to the European nations and also the Americas. Why? Because they have seen the potential that is in them. And now what they focused on, it was on developing cities that are also smart, making sure they have got good equipment, making sure that they have got good services, making sure they have got good connectivity and all sorts of things, and also interconnecting everything using IoT, as I was saying. Now, because this is the case, it now appeals much more better to what? To investors, because when they see this, they see it as a good opportunity to invest in, because they do not see any difference from where they're coming from as well. So that also helps as well in terms of making the actual city or nation to also be competitive on the global stage as well. So you are able to even attract more investors, and also even good transportation. This also plays a key role, because if a person wants to have transportation, they normally use public transport. And if that public transport is not up to standard, then a lot of other people as well, they cannot be that much interested in. Let's say, for example, we have got other investors that are interested to invest heavily in the transportation sector. Now, what they see is something that everything they need to study their own selves, like everything, starting it from the ground up. They might be, we can say that they might not now be interested anymore, because they'll see it as a risk, and they'll see that venture as a liability, not necessarily as what? Not necessarily as an asset or a potential for good business. But if at least there is already that kind of initiative whereby even the transportation sector, it is very much good. You now start to see that even the actual investors, they are now even heavily, they can now be able to what? They can now be able to utilize or to leverage the transportation that is already there, just maybe to boost it up, and also them to make profits from that as well. Now, let us look at the smart composition. And in this case, if you might recall, I've already talked about the IoT. At the heart of smart city innovations, it is the IoT. Now, whenever we're trying to talk about smart composition, we're trying to look at it in the aspect of the things more or less like which encompass smart city development. And what is it that basically we're trying to look at? And now what we're trying to look at, we are trying to look at issues concerning like smart governance, whereby when we're talking about smart governance, we are trying to say that because of the coming in now of smart city and IoT, there is now that better, we can say that better service that even the government is able to offer. Like, I'll give an example. When we come to our nations in Africa, much more the way the government operates, they are mostly people are mostly frustrated with the way the system works. You can actually want or need something which, under ideal circumstances, at maximum, maybe it can only take 2 hours. But you can see that because we lack very much in technology, and we also lack in also even general equipment as well, something that could have just generally took maybe 2 hours to complete, or maybe 2 hours to get the services that you prefer. There might be some other delays, some other challenges and stuff, maybe network issues and so forth. You find out that that thing, you'll not be able to access it maybe after 2 weeks or even a month. So that actually frustrates people, you know. But now with the coming in of with the smart cities and the coming in of IoT, it means now, first of all, from the government agencies, and also when we can also say the other fields that are, and other governmental branches that are also connected to the government as well. It means to say that they will now be interconnected. This means it does not matter which department it is. It does not matter which field it is. It does not matter which agency. It does not matter which branch, and all sorts of things. Because all those things, what they'll do, first of all, it is to interconnect all those It is to interconnect all those information and all those branches together to make it as a one whole unit which functions together. This is why now you see that at least in the actual developed countries, like maybe America, United States of America, and also many European nations, you see that they can have, let's say, they can have maybe like a database of the population of their people, and also the information of their people, and they can be able, if you can go maybe to the road traffic services, you'll be able to find your details. If you go to the hospitals, your same data is synchronized. Either you go to school, that same data is maintained. They know what you did when, they know where you are at the moment. If even maybe you have a criminal record that even happened maybe some 10, 15 years ago, they can still be able to find it because it is recorded in one single system. Now that helps a lot, especially even to clear some other ambiguities when it comes to the actual, when it comes maybe to issues like maybe corruption and stuff, because everything else, it is quite connected to make it as a whole unit to function as one. So even smart governance is even at the hub of smart city implementation. And also we have got smart energy, whereby we're not talking about smart energy, it means now to say, regardless if our resources are few or we have got high resources or many resources, they will now be able to easily monitor the actual energy, energy consumption, even energy efficiency, and so forth. I'll give an example of maybe one or two examples. Like, for example, we know we have got nations which heavily, okay, like maybe I think let's give an example of Israel. Israel, because of where it is, it is not actually, it does not have actually fresh water within which can actually be used for irrigation. But now what they did, the little water that they have, they now developed systems or agricultural systems by heavily utilizing IoT, that the little land that they have and also the little water bodies that they have, it can be able to suffice, it can be able to, they can still be able to cater for their irrigation. Now they had to bring in new systems, new technologies, so that it could help. It could help in the same way as well. How is that so? Now you see that in as much as they use the water, they will now use that water efficiently. That it should not actually be it should not be actually underutilized, but heavily utilized. So they use all these equipments that are able to monitor the plants or the crops as they're germinating and stuff. All those things. It means to say they'll focus on the areas that highly need water and so forth, even for electricity generation. It means to say they can also be able to recycle some of the water that also is utilized, just so that to make sure that they are heavily utilizing all these things. And it means even the smart energy sources now, like as we're talking, the solar, like the solar, the wind, these are also some of the things that are incorporated into smart cities. Okay, trying to run away from them, from the ones that are commonly used, like maybe coal and so forth. So basically that is that in terms of smart energy management, and also smart infrastructure, whereby when we're talking about smart infrastructure, we're trying to look at the issues concerning the actual infrastructure themselves. Now it means to say buildings, when they're being built, normally they also already at the planning stage, they are now planning those buildings with also IoT in mind. What I mean by IoT in mind is that they are not only looking into the actual structure of the actual buildings, but now they start to look at issues concerning maybe, okay, how are we going to incorporate IoT in this building? How can we make this building a smart building? And just to couple it up on the same, let me just also explain it with the context of the smart building. This means to say that in the smart building, they will now start to incorporate things like maybe modern security measures, you know, like the biometric technologies, and also even microchips, whereby maybe they can implant microchips maybe in people, you know, all those kind of things, whereby whatever the place you go, by just using that microchip, if it's a building, it will be able to allow you access to enter that building, whether you're going to school, by just using that same microchip, because it is enabled, or it has been made into a smart building. And also on the same, you can also be able to incorporate things like maybe IoT inspired technologies, like home technologies, whereby you can have smart doors, you know, smart sensors, you know, all those kind of things. You can be able to open your gate remotely, you know, you can be able to close your home remotely. You can be able, you can even have triggers in your home that maybe other people, they were maybe you're a victim of theft. That means you have incorporated cameras, you'll be able to know what happened and so forth. All those things, you know, maybe can even be able to give you alarms, or maybe it is sensing that maybe there is fire somewhere. It is able to make emergency responses, maybe by switching off the electricity and stuff. All those kind of things, they are able to be done quite efficiently because we have incorporated what? We have incorporated smart, or let's just say IoT in everything that we are doing as in terms of city life. Now you see that all these things, even incorporated with healthcare systems and even transportation, just the same things I've been explaining already. And you see that in all these sectors we're explaining already, those are potentials for what? For economic growth. Because now it means even when it comes to business, because now we are receiving all these new platforms, we are receiving all these things that are new, we will now be able to have what? To have a better composition of the layout of whatever issues that are concerned with mankind, in this case in terms of city living. And all these things, as they're incorporated together, it means to say that now you are able to what? You are now able to have a system, or rather we can say to have a city that has been fully interconnected, that everyone knows everyone, and also everything is also connected to one, making it as one system. Now, much of the technologies that are used, this will be, now I'm finishing. So I should finish on the technologies that are normally utilized, just to give us like an overview so that we can also be able to appreciate. Now, when we're looking at the actual technologies that are heavily utilized when it comes to Internet of Things, smart cities, the very first thing that we look at it is the Internet of Things, or in short, we're just calling it IoT. Now, when we're talking about the Internet of Things, it basically just tries, or to answer, or maybe we can say that it is basically a way of interconnecting all networking devices together, you know, so that they can be able to communicate and exchange data. What we mean by all all communication devices or all networking devices, things like ranging from like smartwatches, computers, laptops, whatever, phones, mobile phones, even as we're speaking about maybe the other infrastructure developments that are happening in there, the energy sector, the transportation sector, the healthcare system, all those things now, and even the banking system, whatever, all those areas that are now being incorporated into one huge single thing, whereby now all these devices, all these networking devices, they can now be connected in order to make what? To make it as a single functional unit, whereby now it can start to function as one body. That's why we're saying that Internet of Things, because it means all these things, they're just now connected together to make one single unit or system. And now the second technology that is heavily utilized, we're talking about artificial intelligence. Now, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, we're just trying to say intelligence that is not human in nature, like human intelligence. And in this case, we use computer intelligence, whereby under normal circumstances, people feed information into machines in order to give it a certain level of intelligence in regards to the actual platform or in regards to the actual field that those intelligent machines will be utilized. That's why now we have got issues like robots and so forth. But it is not only, we're not only talking about robots alone, but there are other also AI agents that are also incorporated in our everyday lives. I can give even like a simple example. The same mobile phones that we use, we normally see to say that whenever we're browsing, either you're just like doing the normal browsing, you normally receive like pop-ups, either you're on Facebook or it's Instagram or whatever platform you're using. You normally see that you normally receive these pop-up messages or as in form of ads. Now, ask yourself this question: how do they know that these ads are the ones that I'm interested in? Like, for example, if you're a person that normally loves to search or Google about about education, they might maybe send you an ad for scholarships, maybe to do a master's, or is it PhD or any other level that is there. So you see, now the question should be, how does the system know that I've been researching about maybe scholarships, and now it is bringing the same? It means to say the systems we're now using that have been fed with this type of intelligence, whereby it can be able to what? To understand the actual way a person or sort of like to make decisions based on the browsing history you're using. And on the same, let me just couple it up with also machine learning. When we're talking about machine learning, it is it works hand in hand with artificial intelligence as well. Now, when we're talking about AI and machine learning or ML, machine learning as well heavily utilizes artificial intelligence. So machine learning is more like an extension of artificial intelligence, whereby now you have models where you train them in terms of how you want that actual system or machine to function, meaning to say it can be able to produce results that are dynamic in nature. What I mean is, based on maybe the past history that it has recorded, based on the things that are happening now, it can be able now to make a proper decision, to know what to do at that particular moment in time, because it is able to what? It is able to make its own decision based on the intelligence it has and based on the learning that it has done, or it continually does. So basically nowadays our systems that are heavily utilizing AI and ML, whereby every day we are being studied in terms of like maybe like the example I was giving, like the browsing history you have, the things you normally love to search and so forth. It means now those machines, they are actually learning from you. What does this person normally love to do? What does this person normally love to search about? It means now it has learned from you. Now, since that is what it has learned, it will now bring out results based on your recent search or recent search results that you're also interested in. And also, just to couple it up on that, we also have got cloud computing. Nowadays, cloud computing, it is the way to go in terms of data management. When we're talking about cloud computing, it means to say that whatever data we have, either it is in an organization, a certain business, or other offices as well. Normally, especially big organizations, they have now migrated from actually keeping their own data to now start to use these cloud computing services. Because cloud computing services now, they help out especially to make all this information global. What I mean by global in the essence that we can now, maybe for example, we can have an office in Africa, Malawi, and we can now have maybe, let's say, for example, another another office maybe in Germany. But all these two branches of the same office, they'll be able to have information from whatever department, either it is from the branch in Malawi or either in Germany, because they're utilizing these cloud computing services, because all their data is being kept in the same platform. So basically, when we're talking about cloud computing, we are trying to look at the level of what cloud storage of information keeping. That means the information that we normally have is now kept in the cloud. It is now kept in the cloud storage platforms. And it is also robust, they are also secure. You cannot also even lose your data. As a simple explanation of this is why now at times we incorporate like this, even using our emails nowadays, we can be able to log in our email account and we can still be able to synchronize them with our mobile phones, that even after we have lost our phone, or maybe it has even broke, you can even still be able to purchase another mobile phone. You can even still be able to have a new one, and you'll still be able to get the things that you kept in there. Maybe documents, contacts, either images or videos or whatever thing that you wanted to keep. Now you see that all these things are at the heart of what? They are at the heart of smart city development. And now, as a conclusion, you see that what I've been explaining much, I've explained two concepts on the business context and also in general on the actual smart cities. But now it means to say whatever situation, or let's say that whatever cities that are there, whatever, irrespective of where they are, this is the way to go. Smart cities are the way to go now, because that is where technology is going. And it will only be ignorant for any other party to ignore this trend, because this is where we are going anyway. Everything now is being synchronized together to make our life a bit easier, and also to make whatever issues that are available, whatever things that are there, to be able to be efficient. So reaching this far, thank you so much for your attentive listening. And thank you as well for according me this opportunity once again to be able to make this brief presentation about smart city development. I hope it has been very much beneficial to you all, and also it has also been an eye-opener to you all. So thank you so much once again for this opportunity accorded to me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation, sir. And for our participants, if you have any question for the speaker, please add them to the chat, or you can raise your hand. Here for first question, we have question from participant in the YouTube and in the Zoom chat. Yeah, but how can the implementation of IoT and AI in smart city improve the quality of life for residents? And what challenge might arise in introducing this technology effectively? Thank you.
I'm sorry, can you just repeat on the question? I wasn't able to get it the first time. So can you just repeat the question?
The question already read in the Zoom chat also, sir. Yeah. How can the implementation of IoT, Internet of Things, and AI in smart city improve the quality of life for residents? And what challenge might And what challenges may arise in introducing this technology effectively? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. That is basically a simple answer to give. The very first thing that we need to understand is this. If you were able to follow through my presentation, I was explaining to say that there is that integration whereby now, first of all, let me just explain it in this way. There will be a huge improvement when it comes to the actual basic livelihoods of people. Because first of all, we are seeing that IoT has been heavily utilized in what? It has been heavily utilized in healthcare systems. Now, if I am to give an example on that, on the healthcare systems, it means to say that on healthcare systems, people now will be able, first of all, to be diagnosed properly, especially when we come to many African countries. This is a huge thing that normally happens, whereby there are a lot of misdiagnosis that happens. And there are a lot of cases that are referred to India, because here in Africa, a lot of us, or a lot of countries in Africa, we are unable to maybe have the appropriate, first of all, equipments. The second thing, appropriate technologies to support that, and any other things as well. So looking at that context, it means to say, first of all, you are improving the livelihoods of people, because when it comes to healthcare systems, you are giving those people healthcare services that are of the highest order. Meaning to say, we can say, for example, the actual healthcare services that one can receive, maybe let's say in the UK or in the America, they'll also be able to find it locally. Now, on that, it means people now are not spending huge amounts of money just to go to another country to be what? To be helped in that context. So it means, first of all, because the services that are there are being provided internally, it means to say that what is happening now is that the second thing now is that from there, because people now are able to be treated locally, it means they're saving money. And also, because they're saving money, they are now able to what? They are now able to use that money which they've saved for other purposes, including also because now they have got extra job opportunities. They are now able to what? They are now able to have new and better job opportunities that offer much money. And because of that, it means overall, you are improving the livelihoods of people. But also, since now the city will be integrated, you are now giving the best of the best towards what? Towards the people. Even when it comes to agriculture, it means when it comes to agriculture, the food items that are now provided, they will be of highest quality, because there are proper monitoring systems, there are proper measuring systems, and all sorts of things that are also involved in this as well. So that is basically how I can answer, and I hope I have answered that question well. But if there are still some other things that I need to clear up, then I can still do that as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question, what key strategy can government adopt to ensure the sustainability and inclusivity of smart city development, especially in addressing the digital device? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. The thing that we need to understand is that when it comes to IoT, or I mean in smart city developments, basically the actual management itself isn't that much of a huge deal, because this is the thing. When we are coming to issues concerning proper management of these things, they can be easily done, because first of all, the people that are there, or rather the implementation as it is happening, normally it already incorporates what is already there. We do not incorporate IoT into our everyday lives without actually utilizing systems that are already there. So in actual sense, what you need to understand is that this is more like, not necessarily like taking over what has been there, but it's more like supplementing what is there already to help benefit the livelihoods of people, or even everyday people, everyday lives of people. So the general management, now we have, that means there is a need now for re-educating, in the sense that now how can we be able to properly manage these IoT maybe infrastructures and stuff? That means to say that issues concerning training, those are still at the heart of the implementation, because there is no way you can be able to implement all these technological advancements that we are saying without actually training people, or at least making awareness either to those cities or maybe in general the people. So at the heart of this as well, there is that kind of awareness that we need to make. I'll give an example of this same thing that I'm speaking. Just this week in our country, there was a conference that was happening, which they were basically helping out on the same as well, to disseminate information concerning e-waste management. Now, like, how can we be able to properly manage e-waste? You see, so it means that was like a symposium, but then, and it was also graced by our vice president of our country. So you can see now those high-profile people, they are there of the country, meaning to say there is already that political will. Now what they're trying to do, it is now addressing the issue of what? Proper management now. So whenever there is this dissemination of information, people are able to be aware of what needs to be done when, and how they can also be able to utilize all these things in an appropriate manner. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question, what role does public participation play in the successful development of smart city, and how can city planner effective engagement community process? Thank you.
Okay, if you can just repeat that question again. I think I missed somewhere, so I just want to be clear on the question. If you can just repeat it again.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, what role does public participation play in the successful development of smart city, and how can city planner effectively engage community in the process? Thank you.
Actually, the public community, that's where now we have we can say the public community is probably playing about maybe 70 to 80% of the actual implementation of these things, because whatever technological advancements that can be there, without the public support, they will not be able to what? They will not be able to be accepted, and they will not be able to even be implemented as well. So we're talking about acceptance, let alone even implementation. So it means to say these people, they're actually the ones that are playing a huge role, because first of all, the normal people, the public, those will be the people that will normally be utilizing all these things, as we are saying. Now, just to go back on what I was explaining, it means to say there will now be that need for re-educating all these people, to make them understand, to say that, first of all, you need to understand, to say that all these advancements we are doing, these will also benefit you even on the local level. As we are saying, it is concerned with transportation sector, it is concerned with the energy sector, it is concerned with the health sector, it is concerned with the agricultural sector. Now it means all these people, let's take, for example, a simple farmer who have normally been using conventional ways of farming. They will now be able to utilize good equipments that are incorporated with what? With IoT, for easy monitoring, easy irrigation, and easy planting, easy harvesting, easy storage, and so forth, all those things. So in actual sense, they have a huge role to play, because it means if the general public has got or has embraced IoT, or in this case, smart cities, it means to say that even the general outcome of the actual nation will also be at an advanced stage. So really, the general public has got a huge role to play when it comes to the implementation of IoT. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answer. I think it's very clear answer from Professor Ra. Yeah, before we close the session, for our participants, please open your camera. I will take a picture in the corner 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your information. Finally, we come to the end of the lecture today. We would like to thank you for Mr. for the wonderful information and sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our participants. At least we hope to have more collaboration in the future with the John the Baptist University, Malawi. The visiting lecture for the area. We hope to see you soon. Thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank
this
you so
wonderful
much.
opportunity accorded. I really appreciate for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.